Slideshow. Slide 1. Education body.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Taufiq Effendi, a PhD student at Queen's University, Belfast, Northern Ireland, United Kingdom. I'm happy to share my literature review on disabled students in EFL inclusive classes.
Slideshow. Slide 2. Rational and purpose. Rational and purpose. Underrepresented area in education.
I'm using a screen reader, so apologize if you hear a robotic sound. Yeah, it's helping me to read and to share my research to you.
Rational and purpose. Underrepresented area in educational research.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of disabled students in the EFL inclusive classes has been an underrepresented area in educational research.
Mostly teacher-oriented.
There's not much done. Most studies are teacher-focused, despite the fact that inclusive education was actually meant for providing wider access to disabled students. Yet, disabled students are rarely asked about how they were feeling, how they were progressing, how they were thinking about the learning process that they were going through. And this really indicates ableism in education. Ableism in the sense that the worlds are seen from able-bodied perspectives. As a consequence, things that are not conforming to the assumed normacy of able-bodied people will be regarded as abnormal, disabled, or other synonyms. This is why disability is really political. It depends on the measurements, the definitions, the purposes of categorizing people with different normacy. And disability is also something that indicates a long struggle for equality and a clear message that there's something wrong in society.
Need for systematic evidence synthesis of what is.
Yeah, so we did this review to see what available studies tell us. Yeah, what do they reveal? The studies that incorporated disabled students' voices.
Method 1. Bringing together and scrutinizing individual.
So we we brought together individual studies to provide more comprehensive picture so we can come up with evidence-based recommendations for future policy and practices in the EFL education. We did a systematic searching in 5 different databases: British Education Index, Education Abstracts, Education Source, edX Subscription, and Scopus.
Where? British Education Index.
We screened the titles and abstracts against 6 eligibility criteria. Studies have to be in English, published within this period, early 2002 and 2023.
Criteria. English. The 1st of Jan. Criteria. English. 1. Jan. 2. 2. 3rd December. 2. EFL. Country incorporating. Disabled.
They have to involve disabled students' voices.
Voices. Inclusive. Settings.
They have to be conducted in the EFL countries and inclusive settings.
Review.
And most importantly, they have to be peer-reviewed primary research articles.
Results. 6 studies meeting the criteria.
And we came up with 6 individual studies meeting all the criteria.
Findings. What is revealed by the state of research incorporating this.
So basically, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 key issues that this single studies reveal. The first one is it really shows the rarity of the research, not much interest, and much is still unknown. Methodologies are somewhat problematic, most qualitative yet limited in exploration. And the studies in this review also reveal how key actors were performing in this area. And finally, the studies in this review also highlight the challenges encountered by the key actors, disabled students, EFL teachers, non-disabled counterparts, families, governments, and related parties.
Performances of disabled students coping with individual conditions. Tactile and hearing strategy. Performances of disabled students.
Some data show how disabled students were performing. At least there were 3 main themes.
Coping with individual conditions.
So disabled students were trying to cope with their individual conditions.
Tactile and hearing strategies and positive qualities. English language performance.
And they developed strategies specific to improving their English language ability. And at the same time, they also did their best to improve their general academic skills. In this review, only one study investigated classes with students with dyslexia, and 5 other studies were examining classes with visually impaired students. So the 6 studies in this review only provided some snapshot of 2 groups of disabled students: dyslexic students and visually impaired students. Students with other types of disability are not yet represented. Yeah, which is one of the limitations of this review. Based on the 5 databases and the criteria, there may be some findings reported in other forms of documents like conference proceedings or book sections, yeah, which are beyond this review scope.
General academic performance. Performance of EFL teachers inclusive pedagogical practices. General pedagogical practice.
And then the studies in this review also gave a snapshot about how EFL teachers were performing. And
General pedagogical English pedagogical practices.
at least there were also 3 main themes. First,
General pedagogical inclusive pedagogical practices.
the teachers were developing strategies specific to inclusive classrooms.
General pedagogical practices.
And then they were also delivering strategies common to other classrooms.
English pedagogical practices.
And then the studies also provided a snapshot of how EFL teachers were using strategies to improve the English language ability of the students.
English pedagogical practices. Performance of other parties. Performances of non-disabled classmates. Performances of performance of other parties.
Besides the performance of the two key actors earlier, the studies in this review also provided a snapshot of
performance of other parties. Performances of non-disabled.
How other parties were doing.
Performances of institutions. Performances of non-disabled classmates.
The studies reveal how non-disabled classmates were
performances of non-disabled classmates.
Helping disabled students, how they were involved in classrooms, instructions, the learning process.
Performance of institution. Performances of.
And the studies also reveal the performances of institutions, families,
performances of government,
and also the government. Although the portion is quite limited, but at least the studies in this review provide a more comprehensive picture of how EFL inclusive classes are being implemented.
Performances of government. Challenges encountered by dyslexic and visually impaired students. Challenges encountered by dyslexic and visually impaired.
As the third key issue, the studies in this review revealed the challenges encountered by
EFL teachers,
disabled students, EFL teachers,
encountered by non-disabled classmates,
and
non-disabled
disabled classmates.
Encountered by dyslexic and challenges encountered by EFL teachers. Conclusion: the studies in the review highlight the underrepresentation of disabled students in EFL education discourses. Despite its limited information, this review captured insightful pictures of how disabled students, EFL teachers, and related parties were performing and what challenges they were going through, which highlight key areas for future improvement in EFL education.
Although the review is limited in some respects, but managed to still provide some insights about how EFL inclusive classrooms are being conducted and how disabled students and related parties are performing. Also, the challenges that they were facing. It is expected that the findings can be used to provide evidence-based recommendations for future policy and practices in EFL education. Thank you for your attention. Inquiries are welcome, and hopefully our full paper can get published soon and can then clarify some questions that you may have. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference presentations. Goodbye.
Screen sharing meeting controls window.